So if you missed this weekend's action in China, or you watched the race live and didn't actually follow the fallout after it, both Ferrari drivers Charles Leclerc and Sir Lewis Hamilton were disqualified from their P5 and P6 finishes in Shanghai due to two different technical infringements. I've already made a video going over, well, a couple of videos actually, going over these disqualifications, one while it was being talked about and another one while it was confirmed. But Ralf Schumacher, I'm very heavily betting this is Ralf Schumacher rather than Mick who said this. He has slammed Ferrari for being incompetent because of this disqualification. Let's have a look at what has happened here, guys. Full article on the F1Chronicle.com as always. Ralf Schumacher is always good for a choice of words, to say the least, in the media. The jubilation of Lewis Hamilton's breakthrough Ferrari win from pole in the Shanghai sprint exploded in spectacular style just a single day later. Charles Leclerc and Hamilton were 5th and 6th respectively as they took the checkered flag after their first collision early on in the race, and even amid controversy after the 7-time world champion was ordered to move aside. By the way, no problems with those team orders whatsoever. Hamilton seemed to take it very well. No issues for me. I don't know why we're causing controversy with that personally. Team boss Frederick Vasseur slammed Formula 1 management for the latter. It's a joke from OM because the idea came from Lewis's side, he said. Lewis suggested that we swap to create confusion and make a show. They, F1, only aired the second part of the story. The media turning things and twisting things around to suit a narrative? No, of course not. What are you talking about, Fred? Of course that doesn't happen. Especially the official channels. The mainstream media never do that. No. They're above that. I will talk to them about it. And I understand your question, but please ask Stefano Domenicali because I am not responsible for the broadcast, the furious Frenchman added. Vasseur, however, was talking before the FIA scrutineers found both Hamilton and Leclerc's cars to be illegal and for totally different reasons. Leclerc's car was underweight, with Ferrari explaining that it was due to excessive tyre wear, but there was also suggestions that it was because Leclerc was missing part of his front wing following the Hamilton crash. It's not like that would add up to 2 kilos, former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher told Sky Deutschland. They need to factor that in just to be safe, at least 1.5 kilograms. So from that perspective, it's just incompetence, said the German. They actually did say in the official documentation, which I did share in my in my my explainer of how that happened, they did factor in the damaged front wing. They did find the piece that fell off Leclerc's wing and then weighed that, and they also took the wing off that was on during the race and fitted a complete identical part. So they did both scenarios just to be sure, and every time it came up underweight, unfortunately. And if you're underweight in Formula 1, you are illegal. Simple as that. And it's the same for Hamilton really when it comes to his disqualification, not because of the weight, but because of the plank being worn down too much. Ferrari released an official statement after this as well. They said, "We misjudged the consumption by a small margin." Ferrari explained in a statement, "There was no intention to gain any advantage." Again, Schumacher insisted that there is no excuse for this. "After the sprint, you can assume the engineer knew of what he was doing," he said. "Saturday was so good for them. Then on Sunday they were slow and they were disqualified. Of course, it's not possible to win world championships like this. Already, the notoriously tough Italian media is beginning to become concerned. My feeling is that the SF25 is the product of a project that is too complicated," renowned journalist Leo Torini told Sky Italia. "A reaction is needed immediately in Japan, and we will be there in the land of the rising sun to cover it in 2 weeks' time." Will Ferrari recover? Will they actually not get disqualified? They clearly need to make some changes to that car, and Suzuka as well. In the case of the plank being worn down, Suzuka is a track, I would believe, where it's quite tough on the underside of the car. You've got a lot of really high speed corners, the 130R, the S's, the Degner, some big inclines as well. You think about the climb into the likes of the hairpin, again up the S's, the 130R, the spoon as well. There's some really tough corners on the bottom of the car, so they will really have to watch the ride height. And I believe the ride height was their issue in Melbourne as well. So they've gone from having a car that was painfully slow in Australia because of the ride height to having a car that was fast in the sprint in the hands of Hamilton, pretty mediocre during the Grand Prix race, but also one that was, wearing down the plank too much. If Leclerc's car wasn't underweight, he might have got done for the plank as well. We don't know that. It's possible. And I hypothesized about that at the time. But it's irrelevant at that point because the car's underweight, so there's no point scrutineering the plank. So it could have been that even if, Leclerc did do more pickup on the tyres and did do a 2-stop race, that like Hamilton, his plank could have been worn down too much. And Hamilton's plank, also another kind of theory with this, Hamilton's plank could have been worn down too much because he was pushing 110% during the closing stint of that race, because instead of conserving his tyres like everybody else doing a 1-stop, he would have been pushing full on. So because of that, he might well have been going faster through corners. The plank might have worn down too much. This is just a theory. It could be anything at the end of the day. Hamilton didn't really have a big off, I don't think, during the Grand Prix, so it's not like that. There's no kind of like running off the track and wearing it down like Schumacher did at Belgium in 1994, and like I believe Leclerc and Hamilton did in the USA 2023. I think that was why they got disqualified too, because of the plank. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. It's never a dull moment at Ferrari. I mean, like I say, typical Italian team. They are never dull. They are always up and down and everywhere in between. But we'll see what happens in Japan, guys. Your thoughts in the comments below. I will link the video going more in depth about these disqualifications and also Piazzi's disqualification as well at the end of this one if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, go look at, there's plenty of videos on there. You'll find that one easy enough. Have a fantastic day, guys. Have a great start to your week as well. And we'll see you soon for some more F1 action here on the F1Chronicle.com.